Yes, the title is not a troll. Unfortunately, there have been some changes made. What we thought was the case is now no longer the case, and it smarks. Oh, it burns. With new information, we have to adjust and we have to adapt. And nerfs have arrived, and they burn. Saddle up. Zunisha, if you don't know, before a few days ago, was officially 35 kilometers tall. That's 21 miles high and 20 kilometers long. That's 12 miles long, like Manhattan, the entirety of Manhattan. However, author of the Library of O'Hara has revealed, and I did ask him to double check on a few things. Yes, they are correct. The data books have revised and adjusted these astronomical numbers. And now Zunisha is 7 times smaller than what it once was and has gone down from 35 kilometers to 5 kilometers in height, which is 3 miles tall. And its length has shrunken 10 times from 20 to 2 kilometers, which is 1.2 miles. So effectively speaking, at this point in time, Zunisha is a land animal that is over the size, but slightly so, of one of the sea kings that was in Fishman Island that grabbed the Noah Ark, where the maximum height of one of those sea kings, let's say that huge monolithic zebra one, or the flamingo pink sort of chicken one, they are, I think, the biggest sea kings we've seen so far in the story. And at max, those sea kings are 5 kilometers in length. Again, they are 3 miles long, and Zunisha is their land animal equivalent. Another way of looking at Zunisha would be looking at Drum Island. Art made a pretty neat sort of diagram picture of the scaling of certain locations and animals of the One Piece world. And I did double check this too. The Drum Island Rockies, those huge peaks, would be comparable to Zunisha in height. Slightly lower, but still comparable to Zunisha's full maxed out height. So if you don't care, you don't care, but I care. I think this is sad because honestly, I'll keep it a stack. With this new information revealed, it does make Zunisha and a lot of things in New World make more sense in terms of scale. True, won't deny that. However, it does make the New World, in my book, look less impressive. It is what it is, man. Let me explain. Wait, whoa. Let me explain, okay? I have read a lot of different stories across my lifetime. I've seen it all.
I know it all.
And look, don't be like, oh my God, it's not to say that the One Piece world is lacking by most means compared to other stories I've read when it comes to world building and scale. So for example, we can take a quick second here and compare One Piece to, let's say, its fellow compatriots in the nation of Shonen and see how One Piece in terms of world building and scale stacks up compared to other series. And of course, we'll lead by official numbers, not let's say fan made up or estimated numbers. The World Tree sapling that we see at the end of the Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime is almost 1,800 meters tall, which is just over a mile. It's well above the clouds, and when Gon starts to climb, you can see how impressive it looks. The Sea Kings are almost 5 times the length of that World Tree sapling. That is an insane realization of just the scale of some of these creatures in the world of One Piece. And as an avid fan, a die-hard fan of Naruto Part 1, I recall those amazing historical bouts between Minato, the 4th Hokage, and Kurama, the 9-tailed fox. Seeing Gambuta with its huge scale and size lumber about in so many different areas, how massive it always looked. Oh yeah, it was very impressive. But the Oyabun of the frog species is 17 meters tall, 55 feet tall, and Kurama is comparable to Gamabunta, at least on all 4s. So that's around the size of like a One Piece giant. But compared to like Zunisha's almost 300 times larger than Gamabunta and Kurama. Those Sea Kings in One Piece are dwarfing even the island turtle. They're like living Shinju trees. At least like the really, really big ones, again, like the zebra one and that pinkish chicken flamingo one. Let's say with Bleach. Love Bleach. Komamoru's Bankai, Kokujo Tengen Yo. Confirmed 100 meters tall, which is a 330-foot frame. But he's so big, he's mewing down on Ora's Luffy. We're almost approaching San Juan Wolf numbers with Kokujo Tengen-myo, but he's still only 50x smaller than Zunisha and some of these Apex Sea King. And given what we've seen so far with the 1,000-Year Blood War official anime for Bleach, these Sea Kings are making Gremmy's meteorite look like a billiard pool ball. And officially, Zunisha and these Sea Kings would be almost as long as the entirety of Karakura Town, which was the main battlefield in the Arrancar saga. So now that I've kind of cushioned this, I think appropriately, I'm not saying at all that the One Piece world is mid or lacking compared to other series. The sense of awe and shock, the jaw-dropping moments of just the world and the ecosystems themselves have always been there and will always be there for me in One Piece, without a damn doubt. This is not a thing about, let's say, the history and the world building, but it's rather about, again, the scale and how imposing, how intimidating, the sense of danger of the world itself. And because we've downscaled Zunisha, which I would say in turn downscales many things across the One Piece New World. The One Piece New World, in my personal opinion, in terms of how impressive and how intimidating and the scale of it all, it's not the Dark Continent in Hunter x Hunter, no. Hey, listen, bro. What we see in Hunter x Hunter, it's all in the center of a lake. The whole world. That's like our world. It's in the center of a lake called Lake Mobius. What? And the World Tree sapling is as such a sapling. Remember, the real world trees have their roots embedded into volcanoes, and they go well beyond the distance of the current Zunisha in orders of magnitude, potentially even dwarfing the Tree of Might in Dragon Ball. It is a truly impressive, intimidating world that Togashi has made, but we're not there yet. But what we got so far is phenomenal. And more importantly, the new world ain't Toriko. Oh. I need oxygen right now. I'm dying. I'm huffing, I'm puffing, but no houses are going down because I have no air in me, man. When Zunisha was 35 kilometers tall and 20 kilometers long, I thought it was an attempt to Oda to show you the magnitude of the new world. The new world compared to the Grand Line is supposed to be a much scarier place, to the point where the Grand Line, all the zany and crazy what the F things we've seen in the Grand Line, that's all still paradise. The new world is a far scarier place, a far more hazardous location. And I thought one of the core reasons for that was going to be scale. And Zunisha was one of the major keys of this titanic scale. Like, for example, Zunisha, we only saw half its body, but the lower half could be in locations that are just as deep or deeper than Fishman Island, which would accommodate for its absurd 35 kilometer height. But now that Zunisha's gotten a 7x nerf, I've been thinking, and I've been pondering over this for a few days now. What really separates the new world from the Grand Line in terms of the threat level? Is it just the strong pirates? Which is fine to an extent, but when I consider the fact that in the Grand Line, we have these absurd knock-up streams, like it just obliterates ships whenever they so feet, even launch up whole other islands. Parts of islands can get blasted off Team Rocket style into the air and fall on these giant beanstalks that for some reason just exist in the middle of the Grand Line. You have the chance of random galleon ships falling down on you because of cloud drifting in the Sky Islands. You have God knows whatever's in the Florian Triangle. Those cats could be Zunisha's big brothers and sisters. But they're in the Grand Line, not in the New World, if that's the case. Who knows, right? And its lobby and how it's structured, how it's an island that's barely hanging on by a piece of thin land. Like, how does that even work? That's nuts. And then just remember in Water 7, how threatening and how imposing the Aqua Lagunas were. So destructive to the point where Iceberg is going to literally make his whole island into a ship. All of Water 7 will gain buoyancy. The Grand Line is bonkers. And given how they said the Grand Line is paradise, then yours will be a lot crazier. I don't feel that way now. I don't feel that the new world is all that much different than the Grand Line in terms of the environment itself. It's still a crazy place. You have these giant warm eddies. Again, Zunisha's roaming around. You have these rabbit waves that are very fast waves. Like, let's say, take you from a place like Punk Hazard to just Rosa very, very quickly. Punk Hazard itself, cut in half, one side frost, one side volcano. Okay, but while impressive, still not as impressive and as intimidating as a place that should be way more dangerous and way more crazier than the Grand Line. When I think, well, let's say, for example, Greenbit, a part of Dressrosa, and how it has these very large and menacing plants. It looks like at times a witch's garden, but souped up. Well, I think about, let's say, Upper Yard in Skypiea. Upper Yard also has these oversized plants full of these very dangerous creatures, and it was under God's, quote-unquote, God's control. When I think about those giant borders of Wano country that protect it, and how just getting there is so tricky with those crazy currents and needing koi fish to ride that waterfall. At the same time, in the Grand Line, I look at the gates of justice, bro. The gates of, who made that? And there's 3 of these gates. And they manage the currents in that whole area. These gates put the borders of Wano country to shame. And they're all metal. How? When I recall the Grand Line journey and just how scary the seas themselves were, and seeing that on a regular basis. And one of the scariest things of all time, right before Jaya, where you see a gigantic island-sized turtle that destroys one of the monkey ships, and then afterward, the huge shadows, although fake from Skypiea, but the huge shadows that had the spears as if they're about to destroy the island turtle thing and then the crew. I haven't felt or haven't seen a moment in the new world that matched the fear and the shock and the awe of something like that. That's why I was really hoping to see my Toriko dreams be fulfilled. Zunisha was even larger than the Horse King, the Harak King of Toriko, Heracles. And now it's 4 times as small. And compared to the Sky Deer of Toriko, it's 5 times less longer. When it was longer. Oh. Woo! Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I thought that Oda was like heavily cooking with the scale of the new world. It didn't make sense compared to the Grand Line standards, but you could have accommodated the entire environment of the new world to fit such monolithic apex creatures. You had Sky Islands, but the Sky Islands that we saw of the Grand Line aren't comparable to the Sky Islands of the new world. But no. You may say, listen, ain't no big deal, which is fair. To each their own. But to me, someone who likes to parse over these numbers, because I do like numbers and math, when I think about what Oda had made with Zunisha, to me it was like, this is incredible. Just in terms of scale, my Toriko dreams have died. They're gone. They're out the window. And it still feels like, to this day, some of the craziest locations of the new world were shown at the very beginning, like the Raining Lightning Forever Island that Uroge went to, or wherever Capone went when he got sucked up into a landmass in the sky. That was a very high bar that Oda set at the end of the pre-time skip. But now I'm starting to feel like this bar has not been met. I mean, to be fair, it's for the time being, right? We're not the end game of the story just yet. We haven't even seen Pluton or Uranus in action. And when it comes to this sort of final war, Oda, I think, is pretty hell-bent on having the scale be insane, to where this final war could maybe even encompass the entire planet. In terms of the scale of things, they're gonna probably increase from here on. So I'll just say for the time being, the new world to me does feel less impressive, less intimidating, less awe-inspiring, though again, I will say, it's still shocking, of course, but so far, like the Grand Line before it, not upticked in any meaningful way, if even at all. Of course, outside of the very, very, very powerful pirates that live in this area of the planet. And I guess one last thing real quick. Does Zunisha's nerf mean anything for the power scale? Yeah, it likely does. The first thing that comes to mind is that this will probably in some way, shape, or form alter Onigashima's scale and its size, probably reduce it down, but by how much, I have no idea. That's the first thing. Second thing is that it does reduce the Shanks Wi-Fi hockey feed to where in the past it was hundreds of miles. It was very obvious. Now I can't say that. Now it's more like dozens of miles, but how many miles it is exactly right now, not too sure. But that is it for the time being. So let me know your stance on the subject matter at hand. Again, I understand I could be in the small minority of things. Absolutely, without a doubt. Hands up, don't shoot. I'm a minority. That's right. I have that card. So be easy. Be easy. In the comment section down below. But let me know your stance on the subject matter at hand. If you enjoyed what was kind, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'm gonna catch you guys and gals on the flip side.
See you. Bye-bye.